Welcome to our HoneyBook class, pretty much, right? This is our class here about streamlining your service-based business with HoneyBook in 2025, because we all know that getting organized and getting our systems together is definitely something that is a lot of times on most of the top of our to-do list. Trina says she is located in Wisconsin. Awesome, awesome. So again, you guys, welcome to this session. As entrepreneurs, a lot of us, we spend a lot of time, we're doing the mundane tasks, like we're sending and we're responding to emails, we're setting up appointments, we're sending invoices and onboarding clients, etc. And a lot of times these tasks, they are just draining our time. They're draining our time, they're draining our energy, and in essence, it can also be stunting our business growth, especially when we're going through and we're doing everything manually. So my goal here today is to help you to get your time back and to implement a system that can help you get that done. And I love using HoneyBook, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, just keep in mind, there are other systems that you can use, CRM systems, but this is the one that I have enjoyed. I started using a few years ago, I would say about 4 or 5 years ago, and just haven't turned back. But just in case that you are new here, my name is Kenniqua. I am the owner of K&Z Jones Client Services LLC. So I am your website designer and system strategist, where I go through and I help you take the stress and the overwhelm out of optimizing your service-based business. All right, so I just wanted to go through and take a little poll. Can I bring up my poll questions here? I can. I actually just want to take a poll. There are a couple of you guys here that are live. So I just wanted to just interact with you guys here that are live. And if you're tuning into the replay, you can always hashtag replay for those that end up tuning into replay. But I really want to know where you are now. Are you number one, where you are used to just doing everything manually in your business? Or is number two you, that you've never really heard of HoneyBook, or you're just, or maybe you have heard about it, but you're just on the fence? Or are you number three, that you have a HoneyBook account, but you're just not sure if you are actually going through and using it to its fullest potential? Just let me know by answering the poll questions, because I want to make sure that as I'm going through and I'm doing this, the examples that you guys tell me of the businesses that you have and where you are, I kind of want to use examples that are geared towards you guys that are actually in the room. So I have a couple of responses here that said, I'm used to doing everything mainly in my business. So we have that at 40% right now in the room. Thank you for answering that. And then I have the other 60% that, and actually it's gone up a little bit, 67% now, that says they have a HoneyBook account, but they're not sure how to use it to its fullest. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to answer that poll question for me. That actually does give me a lot of great insight as to who we actually have in the room. Now, I do want to let you know, and again, I appreciate you answering that poll question, because a lot of times that is the clients that I work with. Most of the clients that I work with, they have signed up for HoneyBook, but they are using it for the bare minimum, like maybe sending a contract or doing invoicing, but they haven't really done or explored it past there. And then some are doing the number one option, which is doing everything manually in their business. So that was actually me too. So don't worry about it if that was you, because before I started using HoneyBook, I was actually going through and I was piecing together multiple systems. So I had a system for invoicing, I had a system for scheduling, I had a system for creating brochures and welcome letters. And then I had another system, which was on my website for my portals. And I was mainly sending emails and all these other things. You guys know everything that we do. So literally had all of these different systems. And it was definitely wasting me time, because I was having to go and jump from this system to that system to do this and go to that other system. But then it was also wasting me money, because I was paying for those other systems as well, because I was trying to go through and piece it together. But one day I went through and I just started to go through and look for a better way. And I was searching for some CRM systems, and I came across HoneyBook. And I actually came across two systems. I came across HoneyBook, and then I came across Dubsado. And I was like, let me see which one I want to use. And when I kind of explored HoneyBook versus the Dubsado option for myself, is I found that HoneyBook just looked more cleaner to me, in my opinion. And that's what was the choice of me going through those particular options. I wanted something that seemingly was pretty much it seemed like it was easy for me to jump into. Trina says, "Oh my God, Dubsado is a beast." I heard that it was, and I'm like, you know what? I think I need something that I could just jump into that I don't have to spend all this time trying to go through and learn, right? And so that was kind of like the thing, like, I'm gonna do the HoneyBook route and see how this goes. And I haven't really turned back to using anything else. So after I went through and I started to find HoneyBook, after that, I was able to go through and consolidate all of my client workflows, my processes, and everything into this one system. I was able to go through and begin to book clients faster because I can simply just go through and send them out a HoneyBook link, a contact form, and able to get them into my system and send everything pretty much in one swoop, contracts and invoices and have them pay in just one file. So I was able to go through and do that. And actually, when I first started, you couldn't even really do that in one file, but now you can. Now, also too, what I was able to do is I felt a little bit more professional, right? Because I was confident of how I was going through and presenting my business to potential clients. Because as a website designer, the design of things and the way things look, it does matter to me. It's like one of those things, and I'm like, it can also be like as at a detriment sometimes because I'm like, okay, this has to look semi pretty a little bit. I don't know if I'm the only one with that, but it has to look like that, and so I like with HoneyBook that I'm able to kind of mimic that design from my website and kind of pull that over to my files and just make a very cohesive design. And then I was also able to go through and save time and minimize effort through automation and with using templates. So just imagine if you could go through from today and you can implement a system like HoneyBook and you can start doing that for your business as well. Imagine how much time that would save you, and imagine what that could do for your business and what that can actually do for your clients. How would your clients feel if everything was pretty much laid out for them? It was so easy for them to click a button. It was so easy for them to go through and pay you or to book your services. I think that your clients would actually love to have something like this in place. Yeah, Trina says, yes, you can't jump into Dubsado with ease. Can't wait to watch the replay. Awesome. So this is what we're going to talk about today is, of course, what is HoneyBook? I'm just going to share that just in a nutshell that some of you may already know. And then we're going to dive in to learn how HoneyBook can actually help you streamline your business and your client workflows to save you hours every single week. We're going to check out some of HoneyBook's new features and some of my favorite features. One thing about HoneyBook this year, they have been rolling out a ton of new features. And so I just added in some of the latest features that they have added that I'm really a big fan of. And then how you can actually go through and get started with HoneyBook as a total beginner. All right, so what exactly is HoneyBook? So you might have heard about HoneyBook, but you're not sure exactly what HoneyBook is. In a nutshell, basically, HoneyBook is the leading client flow platform for independent professionals. It provides the tools to help you manage inquiries, legal contracts, scheduling, payment, and everything it takes to serve your clients as a self-run business. So, what is HoneyBook mostly used for? It's going to be for workflow automation. So, when clients are going through and they're submitting an inquiry with you, that is something that you can go through and you can automate that workflow process. So, like your onboarding, your offboarding, your projects in between communications, that's something that you can go through and automate that process. Bookkeeping and invoicing. So no more just having these invoices somewhere in your inbox where you got to continue to kind of dig through and find it. You got to send invoices from Square and QuickBooks, and you just have everything in all these other different places. You can actually put and house everything right in one place and be able to keep up with it. Online payment processing. So again, you can process your payments and send invoices to your clients in one go, basically in one single smart file with the contract, with the invoicing, send it over to them and have it saved inside of their portal for them to access it, but as well as for you to be able to go through and access it too. And even this year, HoneyBook has actually just released, which I've had it since December of last year, but they actually just released HoneyBook Banking, where they partnered with the bank to give you even more options as far as with your banking and invoicing needs. And then communication and AI. So you can have all of your communications right inside of just one place. So now instead of going through, I was working with a client or am currently working with a client that has a business where she is going through and she does grant writing services. And with her company, they go through and they do a lot of, or did do a lot of communication doing email threads, and you're having to shuffle through those email threads to find correspondence with your clients and leads and stuff like that. But with HoneyBook, you can have all of your communication in just one place. So there's no more searching to try to find that conversation anymore. It's all in one place. So it's easy for you and it's easy for the client for them to be able to go through and be able to find the communication. You can add your team to the conversation. There's notes. And then with HoneyBook's new AI features, which I'll show you a couple of them here now, it makes it even easier where AI can join even your Zoom meeting. So when you go through and you have your client schedule a meeting with you, AI can join that meeting, and in the background, it's taking notes and it's giving you those notes and uploading it right inside of your HoneyBook account. It's giving you pre-notes or prepared meeting notes and everything right inside of HoneyBook. So we're going to dive into that a little bit later. But also contract management, where you can go through, you can send out contracts, you can edit contracts, you can create contracts. There's templates for contracts right inside of HoneyBook. So some of the recently released features that misspelled features, but has recently released features that HoneyBook has just released, that I'm going to show you guys a couple of it because I want you to see, just in case you haven't actually been inside of HoneyBook. I want you to be able to see some of these features and just see how you can possibly apply it to your service-based business. Like I said, HoneyBook AI features, those features are going to be a game changer. So I'm going to show you guys there. Conditional logic automation. So how many of you guys actually have, I know you guys did the poll, but was it the 67%? How many of you actually have a HoneyBook account right now? Like you signed up for HoneyBook, whether you're using it or not, but you actually have a HoneyBook account. Because some of you that have a HoneyBook account, if it's not a brand new HoneyBook account, so if you've been using it for a while, you may or may not have HoneyBook's new automation features, which have conditional logic. If you sign up for a brand new account, or like I have conditional logic, but if you sign up for a brand new account, fresh out the gate, brand new account, a lot of those accounts do have conditional logic with it. Monique says she has an account. Lena says she has an account that she's been using for 2 years. Okay. All right. Awesome. So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like so you can see whether or not you do have it. If you don't have it, no worries. You should be getting that soon. I'm guessing because they are rolling it out. Keisha says she has an account. Awesome. You also have HoneyBook tags. So I'm going to show you guys what HoneyBook tags are, what they're used for, and just some case uses of how you can go through and help you to organize your contacts and your projects inside of HoneyBook just a little bit easier. Number 4, more advanced automation and triggers. This is going to expand what you can automate inside of HoneyBook, where it gets a little bit more deep dive than it did last year. Number 5 is even having access to more template designs. HoneyBook has a lot of templates that you can start from. So there's no need to start from zero, right? It's no need to start from scratch. There's a lot of different template designs, including if you guys are Showit users. Like, so if your website is built with Showit, HoneyBook and Showit have actually integrated together to create templates inside of HoneyBook to basically streamline or have that cohesive design between your website template from Showit and inside of HoneyBook. So that's pretty cool too, to have that nice cohesive look. And then also having access to the HoneyBook files main menu tab, which I feel is like a slight game changer for you to see as well. So who was actually HoneyBook actually used for? Because when HoneyBook first started way back in the day, a lot of times people would say it was used, basically it was meant for photographers, which those might have been like the first adapters of using HoneyBook. But it's way beyond that now, right? It's for a variety of creatives and independent businesses. And I've seen so many case uses for this. Of course, it's going to be for business coaches, it's graphic designers, it's accountants, it's VAs, OBMs, social media managers, it's even hairdressers and makeup artists, it's wellness professionals. You can have a cake designer. I've worked with clients that also do, like I said, grant writing, and there's DJs. There are so many use cases for people to be able to use HoneyBook. So, in my definition of who we can use HoneyBook, it's almost for almost any service based business that provide services over to clients. So what I want to do is I want to just jump inside of HoneyBook. I'm going to stop sharing this screen and I'm going to jump into my demo account here really quickly. Let's stop share and let's bring up this demo account here, because I want to show you guys a couple of things just in case you've never been inside of HoneyBook, and we're not going to go, of course, feature by feature, but there's quite a few things, especially those new features that I really want to go through and show you because I want to give you the opportunity for you to be able to go through and explore what HoneyBook can actually go through and do for you. So I have my demo account up here. Okay. All right. So we're inside of my demo account here. Now, this is basically inside of HoneyBook right now. As you see that we're currently on the home page. Now, this home page has been recently redesigned to allow for you to be able to see pretty much everything at a glimpse. So when you come into your HoneyBook account, you can easily see any type of new leads that you have. If you have any unread messages from any of the projects that you have on your account, any tasks, any earnings that you have, you'll be able to see that directly from that home screen, as well as in these sections here. You can create lead forms, you can see meetings, you can basically do anything from this home screen. So I like how they went through and they redesigned this because this is basically like a bird's eye view of everything that is going on inside of your HoneyBook account. Okay. Now, one thing that I do like to tell new users when they go inside of HoneyBook is to go through and just set it up completely as far as making sure that you do everything inside of your settings. So you can simply go to like your profile picture and click on your company's settings. And there you want to go through and just fill out all your information. Like I said, this is just inside our demo account, but you would just put your name of your business. You would complete all the details. You can actually input your brand elements. So this is going to be from your logos, your brand colors. You can change out your main button colors, all of that goodness. You can add in your email signatures and any links that you may have. You can go through and add that as well. You also have your preferences. So I'm not going to go tab by tab, but there's just a couple things that I want to point out to you is, for example, under your preferences, you have your lead sources. Now, what I like about the lead sources is because HoneyBook allows for you to be able to track your lead sources, where your leads are coming from. So when you create a contact form, which I can show you that in a second, but when you create a contact form, your contact form, you can then embed inside of your website. So when someone goes to your website, they want to work with you or they want to submit an inquiry with you, they would go to your website, they would fill out that contact form, and then that would actually put them inside of your HoneyBook account. And from there, you can do any type of automations and all of that goodness, which we'll see here in a second. But on that contact form, you can also have a question like, how did you hear about us? And here is where you go through and update that information. The beauty of it is inside of HoneyBook, it does have a report where it breaks down where your leads are coming from. So now, if you're doing Instagram or you're doing LinkedIn or YouTube, you can see where most of your traffic is coming from. So that would help you to be able to determine, okay, well, should I double down on this particular marketing channel, or is I'm not getting a lot of people doing this, so maybe I should stop doing this. Another field that I want to bring to your attention is going to be project types. Now, this is going to be for those that For example, and this is where sometimes people may not use HoneyBook to its fullest potential. So, project types, let's say, for example, you are a business owner that offers different services. So, I'm going to just use our business for example. We have website design, we do HoneyBook setups, and then we also help with YouTube marketing. These are three different services. So, what you can do is in these services, and I just have these makeups from previous tutorials that I've done inside of here, but you can go through and put in the different types of services that you offer. So, not necessarily like different plans. So, if you're a social media person and you have plan A and plan B, like tier one, tier two, tier three, you don't have to put those in there. But if you offer significantly different services, you can add those into these project types because what this will allow you to do is on your contact form, when someone goes to your website and they say, "Hey, I want to do website design," they can choose the option. What service are you looking for? And they choose website design. Now, in the back end of my HoneyBook, I can see they're interested in website design, but I can also send them out a tailored email, an automated email response according to what they asked for. So my process for people that want website design are going to be different from my process that people who want to get started on YouTube or people that want to get HoneyBook services. My process is going to be different, but having these project types will allow for me to be able to automate them and send them out a tailored response or next steps based off of what they have selected. So if you have those different types, definitely something that you should explore inside of HoneyBook. Even something like tags. So I did say tags, relatively new feature. What tags allows for you to be able to do is you can organize your projects and your contacts in a different way. And it just helps you to be able to find it easier inside of HoneyBook. So inside this test account, like it just has different things. We have it marked as like the different project types, but you can also tag people inside of HoneyBook based off of like maybe you have someone that like so for example what I do is even when I have someone go through and that has booked a discovery call with me, we have a tag for no show. So just in case that person ever comes back, I know that I've tagged them with no show, so I know that last time you did not show for this meeting, right? Or I'll have someone tagged as high priority, meaning that okay, based off of the information they submitted to me, this was like a high priority lead. And inside of HoneyBook they also have the AI preferences, which I'll show you, that also can give you those key indicators as well. So tags allows for you when you go up here to your projects, you'll be able to go through and you can filter out your projects based off of tags as well. So you have your whole pipeline here, which is basically like your client journey, which I'll talk about in a second, but you can filter people out by tags. So you may have this pipeline full of people, but if you're looking for a subset of people to connect with, so maybe I'm only looking for HoneyBook people, then I can just search. I can click the filter tags and search by just those type of people. So definitely a feature that you may want to explore as well. Now, you also can do any type of custom, company notifications, actions, all of this can be customized. I'm not going to go over every single one. I just want to point out some of the really good ones that can really help you to go through and kind of streamline this. I definitely recommend to kind of do a deep dive into this, but AI preferences. So HoneyBook just released their AI features, right? These features are game changing features. Okay. So by default, most of them are turned on. If you don't like them, definitely go through and turn them off. But I do believe they're all on by default. So you have your AI assistant. So you have priority leads notification. So basically, what that does is when someone puts in an inquiry with you, based off of the information they put on that inquiry, it's going to tell you, hey, this is a high value lead. You need to hurry up and get back to this person, right? This is AI basically doing a diagnostic of the information the person sent over to you, which could be helpful depending on the business that you have. You also have AI email drafts. So when someone sends you a message and this person, like maybe it's a lead or client, but they're already inside your HoneyBook account, AI is going to draft an email for you based off of what they sent to you. Now, it does have it, of course, where you can approve it before sending it. Obviously, you don't want AI just to go through and just write all your emails and you're like, oh, I did not mean for it to say that. But but it is pretty helpful to have that because then you can see what AI wrote for you to see in response to that email that that person sent to you. And then you can make any type of edits. Project recap. So this is like one of my favorites. This project recap basically, again, is going to prep you for projects within the 5 days when you have before your project start day or end date. So basically from the meetings and everything that you have going on inside your HoneyBook account, it's going to send you this prep or this project prep, not recap, this project prep. Now, just make sure that you review it to make sure that it's accurate. I do like this particular feature, but just make sure that it has all the information that it does need. The same with pre-meeting prep, definitely a good one. This post-meeting summaries, this one is also a really good one as well too. Okay, so that's how like AI inside of HoneyBook is really helping you to be able to work more efficiently. So even like if we're doing a meeting like this, and if I used a scheduler from HoneyBook to schedule this meeting, I would see in the participants, I would see HoneyBook note taker. HoneyBook AI note taker. And in the background, HoneyBook is literally going through and taking notes. So it's going through, it's going to give you the basically the synopsis who joined the meeting. So it's going to have the people that joined the meeting. It's going to give some overall points of what was done in the meeting. But not only that, it's also going to give you like the things that you said in the meeting. And if it's like some type of like follow up that needs to be done, like if I say, okay, well, after this meeting, I'm going to send you an invoice. It's going to have a section in there that says, Kenniqua said that she's going to send an invoice, and it's going to have a button or a link that says going to create task. And you can literally go inside your notes and you can create a task from the AI notes, which is pretty cool. And then it'll also give you the transcript. Okay. Now, inside of HoneyBook as well. Now, again, this is the first few things I recommend you do is just kind of tackle those settings that you have to kind of just go through them and see what options that you have available. So the next thing is going to be your integrations section that I want you to kind of pay attention to. One of the things is making sure that you integrate your email. So if you have like a Gmail or something like that, make sure that you go through and integrate that. That way, when you're sending out any type of emails that is coming from you, that is not coming from like the HoneyBook email, you want your clients, your leads to be able to go through and recognize it. If you have anything else, so like if you're conducting meetings, it is a good idea, like if you have a Zoom account, to connect your Zoom. Because what that's going to do is it's going to allow for when they book that meeting, it will automatically go through and create that Zoom link inside of your Zoom account, and it will also send that confirmation over to that client. So that takes less work off of you, because I remember back in the day when I was not using any type of systems and I was using a system like uh software like a virtual room that didn't integrate with almost anything. I was manually having to go through, create the link, then I had to add the link to an email, and then I had to go through and send it. It just took so much time. But now on the back end, and everything is in here all at once. Even if you're a Calendly user, if you're a Calendly user, even though HoneyBook has their own scheduler, which I'll show you here in a second, even though they have their own scheduler, if you're married to Calendly, there's a lot of different features that you love in Calendly that maybe the HoneyBook scheduler does not have. You can go through now and you can integrate your Calendly account. I actually just did a video on this on YouTube that you can integrate your Calendly account and even create automation right inside of HoneyBook as well. And there's a lot of other things that you can go through and connect, of course, use any type of third party apps as well too. So kind of just looking at the projects. So when we're looking at projects, and this is something that is really good, like when you're going through as your service-based business. Imagine, so actually, I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna go to they did this over again. Let's look at contact forms, because this is normally going to be the initial part of what most people are going to do after when they get inside a HoneyBook account is they're going to create a contact form, because a contact form is a form that you can go through and you can embed on your website. So that's how people can go through and they can submit an inquiry with you. Now, inside this demo account, of course, I do this all the time, so I have a lot of different ones, but you can easily just go through and you can just create just a simple contact form. You can go through and you can customize it. You can change the design of it. You can put your brand colors if you want, change the font, so any type of settings. So like if there is like you have your HoneyBook basic thank you message, but if there's like a URL or something that you want to redirect them to after they submit this form, you can definitely do that. You can also create multiple contact forms for different situations. Now, not to get too deep, not something that I personally do because there's another way to do it, but you can assign a contact form to a particular project. So that's kind of a little bit where when I was telling you guys before about the different type of company projects, you can actually do that there, okay? But there's another way that you can do it too. So this is like, say, a contact form. Let's say somebody comes to you, they're trying to work with your business. This is actually embedded on your website. You got your basic information, you got your name, your email address, phone number. Maybe you want to know when their projects start. So, what type of project are you looking for? So, a question like this is also connected to that project type that I was showing you or telling you about in your company settings, right? And you can make this question required. You can make any question required or not. But what this does is this is going to pull from those company settings. So from those company settings or that project type, they can decide, okay, I'm interested in business consulting, right? And so if they choose business consulting, then you can then on the back end set up some type of automation to send that person information regarding business consulting. If somebody wants makeup, you can send them out information to get started with you regarding makeup. And so that's how you can do that. And again, that's very beneficial for those that offer different services, which a lot of times I find that people do. And so instead of just sending out just like a generic response, you can actually make it even more tailored by customizing it to what that client actually went through and requested from you. So going through and designing a contact form. Now, the next thing that you can do inside of HoneyBook. Now, I'm going to let's look at lead forms really quickly. So, the difference between basically like a contact form and a lead form, right? So, a lead form is like a front facing form. So a lead form is a front-facing form. So the thing about a lead form is that versus a contact form. A contact form, you can embed it into your website, but they can't do any other type of action from it besides just filling it out. They can fill it out, they can submit it, it'll put them inside of your HoneyBook account. With a lead form, it's a front-facing form that they can still answer questions, obviously, and still submit it, but they can take other actions. So they can schedule an appointment with you all in one form. They can make a payment to you all in one form. So sometimes, even with myself, what I will sometimes even use a lead form for is going through and creating like just a generic landing page. Sometimes I will do that with with a lead form because it's an easy way for someone just to go through and just take immediate action. So there's a lot of different HoneyBook has went through and they've created a lot of different scenarios, all of which you can go through and customize. But like you have things like you can even sell a digital product inside of HoneyBook. But let's say you do this one-time consultation, right? You notice with the one-time consultation lead form that you can do a lot of different things. You can schedule something, you can do invoice, and you can pay. And then all you would do is just edit the template and you can easily just go through and just customize it. And it can pull from any session. Do I have any test sessions in here? Yeah, you can easily go through, customize it, and let's just put test. So now you have a form, and of course, you can customize it. You can go through and add different sections onto it. You can change the color. I mean, you can only make it on brand for your particular business. But the beauty of it is because you have a lead form, something that you can use as a landing page or just a direct some way for someone to go through and book a meeting with you, a pay without you going through and having to, especially if it's for something that you don't have to draw up any type of contract for, you can do that. You'll have the contact, you'll have the actual contact form where now you can embed that on your website. So if you're using anything else right now, you're using a Google form, a type form, or whatever type of form, jot form, you don't have to use those anymore because those type of things, they're already built inside of HoneyBook. You also have access to even, let's see, even schedulers. So you have an access to a scheduler. You can create multiple schedulers right inside of HoneyBook as well. So you can easily go through and create one. You can choose a different type. So like whether you want to do phone call, in person, video. So let's say you do video, it's going to pull from what you have integrated. So like if you're using Google, if you're using Zoom, it's going to pull from that and it's going to automatically create that Zoom link for you. Go through and just fill out all the information for it. You can even go through and based off of them scheduling a meeting, you can also go through and set up automation by even using this meeting as a project date, which will allow for you to be able to go through and set up an automation. Automation gets deep. I'm going to actually show you guys just an example of how you can go through and just streamline everything even more. But with this scheduler, you can put in any type of instructions or anything that they need in order to be able to be prepared for this session. You can go through and send out reminders. HoneyBook has actually recently just gone through and added in this SMS option. So now your prospects, your leads, your clients, they can also go through and not only get an email, but they can get an SMS reminder. So that's going through and helping them to reduce the time that the no shows. Right now at this point, if someone no shows, it's just because they just didn't want to show up, right? They're getting the reminders. Typically with us, we like to go through, we say you can also send it to yourself too, but we like to go through and change those reminders. We'll typically do a day and maybe an hour before. We typically do two. If you only want to do one, you can delete it and only do one. But we personally like to do two. You can go through and put in your availability. You can put in your buffers, your minimum notices, and you can even customize the confirmation that your people actually do receive here on the back end. Now I'm going to look at automations. Now with the automations here, do we want to look at automations? We did integration. Oh, they have actually went through and with task. So let me see if it's in this account. Yeah, it's some of them in this account. So they have gone through. I don't know if it's in this account here. This one I might have to show you my other account. But they have gone through and even, so you can add, let me see, I have a test first. I have a test in here because I just want to show you test project. Okay, so I want to show you what a profile, in essence, would look like inside of HoneyBook, like when your client actually joins. Is there any information in this test here? It's enough. Okay. So pretty much what you can do, even inside of HoneyBook, and all of this can actually be customized, right? You can change this border for what your client, your customer, whatever is going to go through and see. You can also, you have your clients that's added. You can even add other team members. So if there's another client that needs to be added to a project, you have a collaborator or a team member, you can also add them on to this particular project, and you can add them on down here as well. So you can add like different related spaces that you can communicate. So let's say, for example, if you have a team member that's working on a project with you, but you don't want the correspondence that you're sending for the client to actually see it, you can create a workspace down here that you can communicate and with you and the team without the client, right? So if that's something that you need in your business, that's something that you can do right inside of HoneyBook. So from this particular profile, so this is basically what a profile looks like for a particular client, right? Again, test account. You can go through and you can send out any type of email. So you can send out an email here. If you add on at the top of here, I have the HoneyBook Chrome extension as well. So with the HoneyBook Chrome extension, what this allows for you to be able to do is when someone sends you an email, and this could be anybody that's like in your HoneyBook account or whatnot, or even not in your HoneyBook account, you can easily get them added to your HoneyBook account or look them up if you have that HoneyBook Chrome extension. So I recommend that you have that too, because you might find some value or case uses for that. But even here, so you can go through, you can send out messages, you can add people to the project that you need to add to this particular project if that's something that you need in your business. And you can write the message. This message will be sent to them to their inbox, and they will be able to reply to you from, let's say they're using Gmail. They'll be able to reply to you from their Gmail, but it will show up inside of your HoneyBook account. And so it'll show up in your Gmail, but it would also show up in your HoneyBook account. So it's going to allow for you to be able to keep that communication streamlined in one place. So if a client says, okay, well, I didn't get that email. And maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't get the email because their email is so packed with a lot of different things, right? Because our inboxes are a lot of times pretty flooded. They can go inside their HoneyBook account and they can see that correspondence, or you can easily go through and resend it back to them because it's so easy to find because it's just you and the communication that you have with your particular client. You can also go through and create email templates. So if there's an email that maybe you're having to send out repetitively, you can create templates for it inside of your template section and easily be able to pull the email that you need to pull. You can edit it and be good to go with that. You can also see here, so in the portal here, you can also see, so like for example, this has a send client portal link. This client portal link is pretty much the same for everyone. They would use like a username password to log in. Normally in their first initial go, they can create, like they can go through and request basically a login for it, but only people who are actually inside of your HoneyBook account could actually go through and log in. Typically what I do with this link is I just kind of put it on my website somewhere in the footer somewhere where my clients can easily find it, but most of them of course can just save it, but I try to put it in somewhere where they can easily find it. You can see what stage in your pipeline or in your project pipeline of where your clients actually are. So it's very easily for you to be able to go through and see it. You can go through and manually move them through your project pipeline. So like let's say they're in follow-up, but maybe their contract, well, we're not going to do contract. Maybe they book their discovery call. You can manually go through and remove them here to keep you nice and organized so you know what stage of the process that your client is in, and you'll be able to see this information up here in this project section. Or inside of the project section, it can also be automated. You can automate based off of things that they do, they can be moved in the process. So, just to give you an example, if you send out a contract and they pay that contract, so let's just say you send out a contract proposal, the system can automatically have it sent to proposal sent. So it will automatically change their stage to proposal sent. So you know that their proposal has actually been sent. So you said Naquandra, I apologize if I said that. So can we instant message chat the client in HoneyBook? Sorry if I missed that part. Yeah, so you can send them a message. So it's going to show up as like an email, and you can send that message to them inside of HoneyBook. So it's going to actually show in their Gmail. So not necessarily Gmail, depending on what email they have, but it's going to send to them like an email. They'll get it to their inbox, but it also will show up in HoneyBook. So when they reply to it, it's going to send you a reply that will also show up in email and in your HoneyBook account. So it'll be like in both places. But anytime you guys communicate for something that has been generated from HoneyBook, it's going to show inside of HoneyBook. This is also too where you can see like the lead sources. So if they came in through a contact form and they filled out where they got that lead from, they can actually see that information here. So you'll be able to see where that lead came from. You can also go through and tag people. So you can tag them. Let's say you're like, okay, this person, they wanted HoneyBook services. You can tag them manually you can tag them manually with HoneyBook services, but also depending on what they requested, you can actually in automation have them tagged based off of what it is that they did, right? What it is that they did, maybe a form that they filled out. Tags can also be something that can be automated. So it just makes it so much easier for you to be able to streamline a lot of different things inside of here. You have your tasks where you can send yourself reminder. You can add manual tasks onto here, or you can have automation through either automation sequences, add task for you, or again, you can manually add certain tasks as well. But I want to jump into really quickly because I want to show you the automation real quick. And I don't think, okay, I'm going to log out of this one, stop sharing for a second. This one does not, this test account doesn't have the new automation. So I'm going to log into this other one because I want to show you that really quickly. Let's see, I need the code to log in. And this one, let's see, Monique said, do you recommend uploading cold leads to HoneyBook, prospects, new clients you are reaching out to who haven't engaged through your contact or lead form? So for me personally, I don't recommend just adding people to HoneyBook, just loading them into HoneyBook. I recommend having people that you have interacted with to put them inside of HoneyBook. Okay. So for me, a lot of times what I have done is most people that are inside of my HoneyBook account have put themselves inside of my HoneyBook account by either going through and filling out a contact form. So they are interested in my services, or they did some type of lead form where they either booked some type of services with me or they paid for something that way. So I typically just don't add people to my HoneyBook account just randomly, just because there's really no need for me to put them in there. Right. Just because that's not, so I want to make it clear, because with HoneyBook, it's not really like an email marketing software, right? So even though, of course, you can email your leads for people who have actually express interest in something that you have or that you offer, or want to book some type of call with you or whatever service with you, but it's not something where you would go through and just continuously send them out emails. And you can send out bulk emails, but I can honestly say in most cases, I don't think I have, if I have, maybe once have sent out a bulk email, and that was only to people that I have tagged as people who were interested in HoneyBook. And then I had like a HoneyBook offer. But those people have expressed that they were interested. They may just not have, because they requested to be inside my HoneyBook account, but they just haven't purchased, or maybe something happened during the call. So hopefully that makes sense there. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys really quickly before we do get a chance to wrap this up. I just want to show you the new automations. With this new automations, and I don't even have mine fully set up here, because what happens is when I had HoneyBook go through and add automations, they're like, hey, copy all your automations that you previously had and copy them, because it's going to delete them all, and you're going to go through and you're going to get the new automation. So that's what I did. So I haven't even put my new automations in here just because I did that, which is fine, because I'll go through and update it, because I do have all the copies of all my old automations. But this is going to be a beauty, and this is going to be a game changer, I feel like, for anyone that decides to use it. So inside of your automations, basically what this does here, and always name your automation, okay? Because you're going to start building out your automations, and of course you want to make sure that you know, have it named. And I just put some type of random name. I don't even know what I'm doing. Okay, so here is where you can go through and you can set your trigger. So this is pretty cool, because as you can see, there are more actions and triggers that are available inside of HoneyBook. So if you have like Calendly, like I explained before, if you have like Calendly, you can even set up an automation from there. The trigger for the trigger from there is, at this point in time, because it is new, like you said, it says new here. It is new, so it's very limited. It only has one trigger that you can do, is just when someone schedules a meeting. So it's not that robust at this present time, but I'm pretty sure they'll add more to that. But you can set up triggers based off of these things. So you can set up triggers based off of inquiries. So whether someone does contact form, lead form, you can do sessions. So if someone goes through and schedules a meeting with you, you can set up an automation triggered by someone schedules appointment, starts appointment, ends appointment. You can do that. You can even do based off of file completion. So the file is completed, questionnaire is completed. You can even do bookings. So you have bookings for first payment made, invoice paid in full, contract signed, all signatures signed. And you can even do projects based. So let's say project date, project end date, project move to completed, right? So let's just say for most people, when they first do their first automation, it's going to be for a contract form submitted. And let's see, can we make this any bigger? No, I don't know. Okay, so contract form submitted. Contract form submitted. So you have your trigger, which is the contact form submitted. Somebody goes to your website and they're like, hey, I want to be able to work with you for your particular services. So you can choose to say, okay, based off of this form that I have on my website, do I want all project types? Remember, I told you guys about project types in the company settings. This is where this comes into play again. So based off of that, do I want this trigger that we're about to set up? Do I want this to be set up for every single project type that I have? Or do I want a particular project type? So maybe I only want HoneyBook services, or maybe I only want business consulting or website design, right? Or do I just want a general message to go out? So I'm just gonna, just for sake of this, I'm just gonna check. No, I'm just gonna check one service, HoneyBook service, right? So I have HoneyBook assistance. Boom. Okay, so that is our first stage. I'm gonna hit this plus sign. It's gonna give me some different stages that I do have. So you have your action. So the action is after someone goes through, they submit a form, they say, hey, I want HoneyBook services. What do I want to happen next? Which is going to be the action. So do I want an action to take place, or do I want to wait? So a wait time is going to be, I want to wait steps or time in between it doing the next thing. Or do I want to set up a condition, which is it allows me to be able to, to split the automation into two paths, depending on whether or not an actual condition is met. So for this case, I'm going to do action. So I'm going to do action. And then I am going to go through and I am going to send an email with a file. Okay. I'm sending an email with the file type. I can choose any type of file type. And I'm just going to choose a random one because I want to show you guys something. Let's say HoneyBook proposal, right? HoneyBook proposal. And then it's going to ask me, well, what email do you want to send with that? Then you can just, first of all, just a little quick tidbit is name your emails. Make sure you name your emails. If you have emails that are in an automation, I recommend making sure that you kind of classify them and group them together in such a way that you can easily go through and find them. So like, for example, like here, like this is like this B means HoneyBook to me. And so I have like 01 discovery, 02 discovery. This is in our discovery phase. And so I kind of know, and this one down here fell down here, but I can see what the emails go in what order. Otherwise, the emails will be all spread out over the place and it's a little bit harder to go through and find. So I'm just going to choose one, even though it doesn't go to that one, but then I can go through and I can preview it. You can see what the actual email looks like. You can decide, hey, I want to require approval before sending. That means, hey, don't send this quite yet because I need to go through and look at this first, but I'm not going to do that in this scenario. So starting at the top, someone goes to our website, they submit a contact form and they decided they wanted HoneyBook services. So then I wanted to have an automation set up to then send them out this document. I just chose first document based on we came across. So it's going to send them this document and it's going to send them out this email with this document, right? So then I'm like, okay, well, what do I want to happen next? In my case, what I want to happen next is I want to go through and I want to set a condition. So this is what we can do is set a condition. And you can even put a wait time inside of it if you want to, but you can go through and set a condition. So actually what I'll do is I won't even set the condition. I will go through and I'm going to put in a wait. So let's wait and let's wait. We'll have 1 day. And actually, we probably didn't even have to put in the wait. We'll put in the condition, right? So basically what the condition is saying is like, I can select the condition. So I sent out this document and I sent out this email, and inside of this document is a file that I need them to go through and complete. So I can set a condition, select a condition and see what happens if it is met and if it is not met. So do I want to say, okay, they got this file. If the file was viewed, is that my condition that the file was completed, first payment was made, invoice made, and there's a couple other options. So I don't really care so much if the file was viewed. I want to make sure that the file was completed. So I sent this file over to them with this email. I need to know that this file was completed. I'm setting up an automation because I want HoneyBook to recognize, let me know when this file was completed. And if it wasn't completed, I need you to do something else. So the file was completed, and then it's going to ask me, hey, what file do you want? Well, based off of up here, the only file that's attached in here is just this HoneyBook proposal file, right? So this HoneyBook proposal file, check and see of whether or not this HoneyBook proposal file was actually completed. And you can set a time frame for the condition. So when it's enabled, basically you can say, okay, do you want us to check to see if this was done in a day? Do you want us to wait a day? Well, maybe I'll just say, okay, let's just wait 3 days. Okay. You can change this from days, hours, minutes, months. So it's going to say, okay, give me 3 days. If this client doesn't complete this file, what do I want them to do? So here's the condition. I can say yes, boom. If they completed it, oh, awesome. They completed it. I want you to go through and I want you to send them an email. And let's send them, just gonna click on this first thank you email. Tell them thank you for completing this form. But if they don't complete this form in 3 days, I need you to send them out another email to remind them. So then I can go through and let's say, where's a quick follow-up email? Let's just say follow-up, right? Follow-up email. So can you imagine how that can really help you get back your time in your business? Because now you're going through and you're literally able to go through and have systems work this for you. You're not having to actually go back and say, okay, let me go back and see whether or not this client did this thing I need them to do. No, the automation is going through and it's doing it for you. It's going to say, hey, this person doesn't do this in 3 days, send them out a reminder. And if you want to continue to build it out and say, hey, if they still don't do it, send them out another reminder or resend the form back out to them again. You can keep building upon it if they don't do it, right? Or if they do it, you can go through and continue to build that out. So the possibilities are really endless about what you can do inside of HoneyBook. And I know it might seem like a lot. And of course, there's no way that I can actually go through and, teach a whole thing of HoneyBook in 1 hour. However, hopefully this did give you a really good start about what you can actually go through and do to leverage and implement into HoneyBook. Wendy says, do you think understanding the full scope of this platform is best learned by jumping in and using it? It seems very robust in a good way, but a lot to learn. Yeah, so what I would recommend is really right here, what we're going to talk about now is getting started. It's number one, it's going through and doing the pre-work. A lot of times with any system, and it's just not with HoneyBook, but with any system, is that a lot of times people just jump into the system and it makes it very difficult if this one thing that I feel is not done. And this is going to be mapping out your client journey. Mapping out your client journey is really going to help you because that's going to help you to fill out that project pipeline at the top of your HoneyBook, but it's also going to help you to know what templates do I need to create? What email templates do I need to create? What automations would I like to go through and do? You're not going to go through and set all of that up in day one. A lot of times you're not. It's going to take you time to build upon it. So don't get overwhelmed by thinking that everything that I showed you here today, that you're just going to jump in and you just need to do all of that. You don't. Map out what it is that your client journey is going to look like as far as when someone finds me wherever I am. So they find me on Instagram, they find me on YouTube, they find me on wherever. What do they do next? They fill out that contact form. What happens next? What happens next? Write that out. This is what we do like with each one of our HoneyBook clients is we fully write this out from start to finish of what this actually looks like, because then we can go through and we can insert, this is where we want to put automation. Oh, this is where we need to put this email because we fully mapped out in a visual way of how this process actually looks. Ms. Davis had a question. Are we able to send marketing emails from HoneyBook? So HoneyBook is not geared for like marketing emails, like where you're going to go through and you're going to be sending out like your, well, marketing emails, like a marketing software like ConvertKit or Flowdesk. So I don't necessarily recommend doing that. I do see that they did add even this year where you can go through and you can add an unsubscribe button to some of your emails, but not something that I would highly recommend that you do in those cases. Um, you said, "Sorry if I missed this, but would you recommend using QuickBooks with this or something else?" So HoneyBook actually does integrate with QuickBooks. You can do your invoicing and everything inside of HoneyBook. But if you are using QuickBooks already, you can integrate the two together if you wanted to still continue to use QuickBooks. So when you're getting started with HoneyBook, do that pre-work of going through mapping out your client journey, customize those settings. So the settings that I went through with you earlier, just go through each one of the settings and just customize it. Put in your brand colors, your logos, and just go through and just make sure all of that corrects. Because as you can see, even when we started going through and doing the automation, all of that kind of stems from those as well as it stems from your templates, okay? Because you cannot start an automation inside of HoneyBook without first having templates done. So that's your email templates. You have to have those set up prior to templates for like if you are pulling in like a proposal that has to be done prior to. So those are things that you're going to build upon over time. And again, they have a really good template library that you can use to kind of create that. If you want to create email templates, jump into ChatGPT and ask it, hey, what's a good onboarding email that I can use? Go through, put it in there, put in your brand voice, tweak it, make those changes and put that in there. And then saving yourself by time I said creating templates. Then you're going to create your contact form. You're going to create your contact form. You're going to embed it into your website. Okay. Because that's going to be usually that first initial step of how someone is going to get inside of your HoneyBook account. And then customizing your project pipeline. So that's going to be that pipeline. That's going to be your stage of how your clients are going to actually go through and maneuver basically through your project and through your HoneyBook account. But again, having that client journey mapped out is going to help you to be able to create that a little bit more efficiently. And then you're going to go through and you're going to set up your schedulers. Okay. So you're going to set up your schedulers by putting in, like, if you have like discovery call, or maybe you have a the call scheduler, and then maybe you have a, client meeting scheduler. You can set up various ones, but start off with just one. This is the one that you need and put in your availability for that. Now I'm going to drop my link here because this is, if you did want to, just in case for those that are not signed up for HoneyBook, you can start a free trial of HoneyBook as well as get 30% off your first annual subscription of HoneyBook with my link, which is sharehoneybook.com/kenniquaj. So I will go ahead and put that inside of the chat here with you. And then let me know what questions that you have. Is there anything? Obviously, I couldn't cover every single last bit and piece of HoneyBook in just this hour time frame, and we went a little bit over, but I just want to go through and answer any questions for you that you may have of what we actually went through and covered today. So you go ahead and put those in the chat if you have those questions. Obviously, too, I have to go through, and for my replay viewers, if they have any questions as well, post those inside of the comments, so I can answer those questions too. And just in case, like if you're like, okay, this seems like a really robust system, and it seems like something that I really want to get help with, from even mapping out your client journey to taking that and implementing it into HoneyBook. These are the services that we do offer. I do offer HoneyBook audits. This is where we go through your HoneyBook account to make sure that you're using HoneyBook to the maximum potential. And we're going through and just dissecting and going over your workflow, showing how you can improve your automation, how you can enhance your templates. And I go through it with a fine-tuned comb, and I do a video and I give you a checklist of things that you can do to actually go through and improve your HoneyBook account. And so with this, it's more so for our DIYers that just want to do it themselves, but they need someone to actually kind of go through and kind of help them with it. We also do full HoneyBook, full setup. So this is going to be someone that's just like, okay, I just want someone to go through and do it, which we can get this done for you within 14 business days. And we sit down with you. We have a 90-minute strategy call where we go through and like that client journey mapping, we go through and map that all out for you. So all the ideas and all the processes that you have in your head, we actually get this down on paper for you or on digital paper. We get this down where we'll have this whole roadmap built out for you that not only you can use for your business, but you can also be able to share it with your team because we have share options where you can share it with your team as well. And we implement everything inside of your HoneyBook account from setting up your HoneyBook account, your schedulers, your client flows. We map out your automations, your email templates, your contact forms. We do it all for you. And we get this all up and running for you within 14 business days. So that is available at katiejonescs.com. Now, also too, I do understand that a lot of times people they want to have something like this in place, but again they still don't know where to start, but they're not necessarily sure if HoneyBook may necessarily be the option, but you still want to go through and have things streamlined as well. And so what we do with that is we do also offer implementation services or pre-implementation services, and this is for business owners and entrepreneurs that are transitioning to a CRM system and they're just looking to go through and improve their efficiency by streamlining their client journeys, their processes, where they may want to go through and implement HoneyBook, or maybe not. Maybe they want to go through and use a different system. And so there we go through, we offer separate systems where I'll walk you through client journey mapping. We'll map out your services. We can go through and set up goal setting and CRM integration preparation. We also do business process auditing. So we do several different things that can really help you to get your business assets all together before even implementing any type of system. So again, that is available as well. I have a question. Ms. Davis said, I want to use it, but I am anti communicating with clients via email primarily because I do graphic design work and I need quick responses. And I know people don't open emails. Yeah, so it really just depends on just keep in mind that you don't have to just go through and communicate with them via email. Of course, there are outside systems that you can use. You can certainly go through, like if you're like using something like Slack, you can certainly go through and connect that to like your HoneyBook account as well. You can use third-party integration systems like Zapier and connect like your Slack to it if that's something that you want to do. But I would just explore to see if it is something that's right for you to do. If you don't want to send anything to your clients, even though I would think with graphic design, even deliverables and invoicing and stuff like that is probably something that you could use it for, but you don't have to do your communication through you don't have to do your communication through HoneyBook if you don't want to. You can definitely hook something else up to it if you want. Is just understand that some of the emails, like, so like if they make a payment, they'll get an email to say thank you for their payment. But if you don't want any of that, then that may be something else to kind of look into. All right. Did anyone else have any other questions for me before we close it out? I'm so happy that you guys were able to go through. For those that were able to go through and join me live, I definitely appreciate you guys going through and to joining me live for this session. Again, I will be putting this on YouTube, so you will be able to go back and just refer back to it. And if another question kind of pops into your mind after that, definitely feel free to reach out to me. Again, if you do need any help now or in the future, again, you can go to katiejonescs.com for any type of assistance. And again, I appreciate you guys joining me here, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And I will see you guys very, very soon. We'll be hosting more lives just like this, kind of breaking down other options and get a little bit deeper inside of HoneyBook as well. Yeah, you said, yeah, definitely invoices and things like that for sure. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. All right. Well, take care. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And again, thank you so much for joining.